Light has the power to shift your mental health, and here's how. This is according to Jacob Krauss and Emiliana Tony Ian Hickel of The Conversation. It's spring, and you've probably noticed a change in when the sun rises and sets, but have you also noticed a change in your mood? We've known for a while that light plays a role in our well being. Many of us tend to feel more positive when spring returns. But for others, big changes in light, such as the start of spring, can be tough. And for many, bright light at night can be a problem. And here's what's going on: an ancient rhythm of light and mood. In the early article in our series, the writers say, we learned that light shining on the back of the eyes sends timing signals to the brain and the master clock of the circadian system. This clock coordinates our daily circadian rhythms. Clock genes also regulate circadian rhythms, and these genes control the timing of when many other genes turn on and off during the 24-hour light-dark cycle. But how is all this linked to our moods and mental health? Circadian rhythms can be disrupted, and this can happen if there are problems with how the body clock develops or functions, or if someone is routinely exposed to bright light at night. When circadian disruption happens, it increases the risk of certain mental disorders. These include bipolar disorder and atypical depression, a type of depression when someone is extra sleepy and has problems with their energy and metabolism. Light on the brain. Light may also affect circuits in the brain that control mood, as animal studies show. There's evidence that this happens in humans as well. A brain imaging study showed exposure to bright light in the daytime, while inside the scanner changed the activity of the brain region involved in mood and alertness. Another brain imaging study found a link between daily exposure to sunlight and how the neurotransmitter or chemical messenger serotonin binds to receptors in the brain. We see alterations in serotonin binding in several mental disorders, including depression. And what happens when seasons change? Light can also affect mood and mental health as the seasons change, and during autumn and winter, symptoms such as low mood and fatigue can develop, but often once spring and summer come around, these symptoms go away. This is called seasonality, or wherein severe seasonal affective disorder. What is less well known is that for other people, the change to spring and summer, when there is more light, can also come with a change in mood and mental health. Some people experience increases in energy and the drive to be active. This is positive for some, but it can be seriously destabilizing for others. This too is an example of seasonality. Most people are not very seasonal, but for those who are, seasonality has a genetic component. Relatives of people with seasonal affective disorders are more likely to also experience seasonality. Seasonality is also more common in conditions such as bipolar disorder. For many people with such conditions, the shift into shorter day lengths during winter can trigger a depressive episode. Counterintuitively, the longer day lengths in spring and summer can also destabilize people with bipolar disorder into an activated state where energy and activity are in overdrive and symptoms are harder to manage. So seasonality can be serious. Alex Hutchian, who experiences seasonality and helped write this article, told us, "The season change is like preparing for battle. I never know what's coming and I rarely come out unscathed. I've experienced both hypomanic and depressive episodes triggered by the season change, but regardless of whether I'm on the up or down, the one constant is that I cannot sleep. To manage, I try to stick to a strict routine, tweak medication, maximize my exposure to light, and always stay tuned into those subtle shifts in mood. It's a time of heightened awareness and trying to stay one step ahead." So what's going on in the brain? One explanation for what's going on in the brain when mental health fluctuates with the change in seasons relates to the neurotransmitter serotonin and dopamine. Serotonin helps regulate mood and is the target of many antidepressants. There is some evidence of seasonal changes in serotonin levels, potentially being lower in winter. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in reward, motivation, and movement, and is also a target of some antidepressants. Levels of dopamine may also change with the seasons. But the neuroscience of seasonality is a developing area, and more research is needed to know what's going on in the brain. How about bright light at night? We know exposure to bright light at night, for instance, if someone is up all night, can disturb someone's circadian rhythms. This type of circadian rhythm disturbance is associated with higher rates of symptoms including self-harm, depressive and anxiety symptoms, and lower well-being. It's also associated with higher rates of mental disorders such as major depression, bipolar disorder, psychotic disorders, and post-traumatic stress disorders or PTSD. Why is this? Bright light at night confuses and destabilizes the body clock. It disrupts the rhythmic regulation of mood, cognition, appetite, metabolism, and many other mental processes. But people differ hugely in their sensitivity to light. While still a hypothesis, people who are most sensitive to light may be the most vulnerable to body clock disturbances caused by bright light at night, which then leads to a higher risk of mental health problems. Where to from here? Learning about light will help people better manage their mental health conditions by encouraging people to better align their lives to light-dark cycle to stabilize their body clock. We may also help prevent conditions such as depression and bipolar disorder emerging in the first place. Healthy light behaviors, avoiding light at night and seeking light during the day are good for everyone, but they might be especially helpful for people at risk of mental health problems. These include people with family history of mental health problems or people who are night owls, late sleepers, and late risers who are more risk of body clock disturbances. Alex Hutchian has lived experience of mental health condition and helped write this article. And this is from the conversation by Jacob Kraus, research fellow in Youth Mental Health, Brain and Mind Center, University of Sydney, and his colleagues on Science Alert. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.